know if I'm in the shot. I'm gonna show you. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Mariah Flips Furniture, where I am refinishing furniture to help pay off debt, earn extra income, and show you guys as well how you can do the exact same. I'm so excited. This is going to be a really quick flip, so I'm really excited to show you guys how you can turn a free dresser that's in rough shape into hopefully $400 in just 24 hours. And hopefully by tomorrow 1 p.m. I have this dresser listed, ready for sale, and we'll hopefully get some bites before I post this on Friday. So I'm hoping to give you guys updates along the way, how much I'm going to list it for, what areas I'm going to definitely focus on, and a couple of things that I'm going to do as well to make sure that I raise the quality of the piece, which will also help me get more buck for my bang. More bang for my buck. Whatever the saying is. At the end, I will also break down how long everything took. I am going to keep in mind too that I'm using a paint sprayer that I love to use, which cuts down on a lot of time. So if you have not invested in a paint sprayer, the one that I started with is only $50 right now. It's less than $50, it's $49. Phenomenal, saves you so much time, and it'll help you save and cut time so that you can do projects quicker with still a higher quality. So that's my huge recommendation for this video. In order to get a quicker flip, consider investing in a paint sprayer, and the cheapest but highest quality one that I recommend is the HomeRite Super Max sprayer, which starts at $49 right now. So let's go into a couple of things that we're going to start with, and I'm going to show you how this dresser starts out. So this dresser is in really rough condition to start with. It's got a lot of dings, a lot of scratches, and a lot of cosmetic errors. However, it is real wood, which is a huge game changer. Because in general, when you start with real wood, it's higher quality piece and it'll last your client so much longer than MDF or particle board. One of the ways to tell if it's real wood is, first off, if you look in the inside of the drawer. If the wood grain also goes to the inside, it is more than likely going to be real wood. In addition, you can also look when you remove one of the drawers. Oh, well, that's awesome. The hardware is not sturdy. When you remove one of the drawers, you can also look on the inside of here. So this is a big indicator that it is real wood. All of the wood grain goes to the inside of this, as well as there, as well as the top. It is possible that they do plywood and then they do a veneer on top. However, the wood grain does mimic the outside wood grain as well, so it is real wood all the way around. It is a really lightweight wood, which honestly, in my opinion, makes it way better for me. Way easier to move and just way easier to market rather than a 500-pound dresser. So if you ever are not sure, ask whoever you're buying a dresser from on Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp, wherever you're buying a dresser from, ask if you can remove one of the drawers and take a picture of the inside. That'll help you determine if it's real wood or not. Or you can also go to the back. If the wood pattern stays on the back, it's hard to see it in the light, but if it shows on the back as well, then that means it is most likely wood through and through. So those are a couple of tips. Also, this one is compliant for formaldehyde. I don't know what that means, but it's compliant, so that's good. So with changing it a nice popular color, which I'm gonna go for a Spanish olive. So excited. I haven't used this color yet, but an olive green is really popular right now. So I'm hoping that that'll help this sell quickly. And with the wood grain lifted, the paint will still show the wood grain through. So I'm really excited that I'll just add texture to the whole piece. It'll give it a great extra bonus to this piece where it doesn't just look like a normal IKEA painted piece. So really excited. Let's start off with our first part, which is prepping the piece. We're gonna be removing all of the hardware. I'm halfway there, guys. I've already got 3 off. And then we're gonna be cleaning the piece entirely so that we can scuff sand and then prime. Yay! For removing hardware, I always use power drills. That's just what I recommend. Hart Tools actually has really affordable tools, so I do recommend for beginners, check out Hart. It's really great. It still gets the job done. 20-volt batteries, so they last a really good amount of time, and they are really powerful tools, high quality. It also comes with this cool drill bit set where it has so many different drill bit options. So again, highly recommend if you are just starting out, look into Hart. It's Walmart's brand. Really affordable, but still high quality. You don't have to start out with a $200, $300 power drill. This one will definitely get the job done. This hardware is just snapping so easily. This piece just snapped off again. Wild.
Next, I went in with my Simple Green all-purpose cleaner, and it's also a degreaser, and that's why I prefer this cleaner the best, because it'll help you clean your piece to get a fresh start and also remove any sticky residue from stickers or price tags. So this is a huge one that I recommend, and it always helps me start out on a good step.
So all in all, it took me 30 minutes to remove all of the hardware and clean the piece down, but this also includes my recording, which means I'm moving the cameras, I'm making sure the angles are right, positioning it on the tripod in the right way, so it does add some time. So 30 minutes so far for all of that. I did find out that one of the drawer slide like plastic pieces do need to be replaced, so I'm ordering a new one of that. And then I also am going to order new hardware. I'm having my followers on Instagram and Facebook vote for which hardware they have. I have 2 separate options that I'm going to show you guys here. So if you ever want to be a part of the voting for any future pieces or pieces I'm working on, follow me on Instagram or Facebook. It's a lot of fun. My voters decide pretty much what I do, so it's super exciting. So now that the piece is clean, I'm going to be scuff sanding. I'm going to be using 150 grit using my orbital sander from Hart. I'm going to be showing all of the products that I use down in the corner, as well as the pricing that it has. Most I'll add the pricing, like Hart Tools, because I want to show you guys. Sorry, airplane's going. Where is it? Oh no, I lost it. I want to show you guys how affordable these tools really are. So next I'm going to be using my orbital sander, and I'm going to show you guys the picture, how much it is, and yeah, let's get started. Oh, the batteries are also interchangeable, so you just need 1 battery for the Hart Tools. Most tools are like that. Of course, the brands don't use the same tool batteries, so if you have a DeWalt drill and a Milwaukee battery, it will not fit. But if you have a DeWalt drill and a DeWalt sander, the batteries will be interchangeable between the tools. Same with Hart. I can use my battery on my flashlight, my sander, my drill, my impact drill. But yeah, so super handy. Okay, let's get to it. Orbital sanders for squared edges like this are a pain in the butt because obviously an orbital sander is rounded, so it doesn't get into the grooves like I need to. So I always show you guys my sanding kit. It comes with a lot of different sizes, and what it is it's got the Velcro on one side, a nice handle for you to hold so that you're not just bending sandpaper and getting it in an awkward groove like this. Instead, you've got the Velcro on one side, you attach your sandpaper onto it, and then you can just go in however you want. It's got rounded edges, it's got a nice pointy one that'll help me get into grooves. It's got the flat one, which I use on almost every project. So really, really, I don't even know if I'm in the shot. Really great resource. So of course, that'll be in the caption as well.
Scuff sanding is the most tedious part of the entire project, and it typically takes the longest. However, it is the most important. If you don't scuff sand the surface, the previous top coat is going to do its job and refuse any new product from sticking to the surface. So you need to make sure that you're roughening up the surface. I use 150 to 120 grit. I scuff up all the surface around every single part of it, and then that helps my primer adhere better to my surface. If you dread sanding, I highly recommend looking into an orbital sander with sandpaper on it, as well as those sanding blocks. Those make the process so much smoother for myself, and so I highly recommend looking into it if this is part of the process that you really cannot stand. This next part is also really important. When you sand, you're going to put a lot of extra dust into the piece, so you always want to wipe it down with a wet rag. Here you can actually watch how much dust is flying off of the piece, and if I were to spray my paint or primer right over that, I would have sealed in all of those dust particles and created a really gritty finish. Once the piece is completely reassembled, we are going to start priming, and I'm going to show you a little tip to get extra dust off as well. Started at about 1 o'clock. It is now 3:30. I have it completely scuff sanded, cleaned, all the hardware is removed, and now I'm going to prime. I am not using the beginner sprayer that I mentioned earlier because I'm forgetful and I lost one of the tips. However, I am using a sprayer that I highly recommend. It's just a little more affordable and has a lot more settings, which can be confusing when first starting out. So I do still recommend the Home Right sprayer if you are starting out, but this is the Wagner sprayer that I'm going to be using. So definitely check it out if you're interested. Great, lightweight, great settings, really easy to use when you have the experience of a sprayer, and overall great spray. So let's get to primer. One of the techniques that I do use before spraying on my primer, I've already cleaned off all of the dust. However, I do also spray air on it using my paint sprayer. I spray air before pulling the trigger so that it can remove any extra dust, so that I don't apply the primer over the dust. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to go over it with just the air at first, and then I'll go over it with primer. It is wild to me how much sand and dust still come off the piece. I do recommend blowing the air because look at the difference that this makes. And again, I don't want to accidentally seal in all of that dust into my finish and make my primer really gritty. One of my rookie mistakes that I didn't notice until a couple of projects in is that when using primer, you should always water it down. I water it down about 15% because primer is so thick that you really need to water it down to help it go through your sprayer. If you're not using a sprayer, I don't believe you need to water it down, so I don't know on that, but water down your primer so that it will go through the sprayer way better. Let's talk about straining paint. When you're prepping for your paint, you want to make sure that you are getting any dust particles out as possible. So, what you're going to need for your paint sprayer is you are going to need your can of paint. One paper strainer. These are super cheap. You can get a whole massive pack. I got a 50 pack on Amazon that I'm gonna list. And it's very cheap. Or you can even go to like Lowe's or Home Depot and get a pack of 4, I believe it is, for like 99 cents. Very cheap. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna take your paint can, you're gonna stir it, not shake it, so that you don't get any extra bubbles. Then you're gonna take your strainer and you're gonna place it on your paint sprayer so that you get any dust particles out. This color that I'm using is called Spanish Olive. I'm so excited about it. It's actually one of the newer colors by Wise Owl. It is a 1-hour enamel, which means that it does dry in about an hour and it fully hardens, and it does not require top coat. It is a more expensive brand to use, but it helps save time and it is higher quality paint for furniture. So I highly recommend looking into it at least. I'm gonna be honest though, I started, and every once in a while I do go to the very typical wall paint that you can get at Lowe's and Home Depot. I personally prefer Behr's paint line or Sherwin-Williams. Those two, you can get any paint interior. I prefer the satin finish, and then you just get a polyurethane water-based to put on top. Super durable as well. You want to find a polyurethane or a polyacrylic that you like the most, and that'll go over any paint and that'll really solidify it. So now that my paint is fully stirred in, I'm gonna pour it in my strainer. I'm gonna go ahead and fill up my entire canister because I'm gonna be doing multiple coats. So I have found that an entire thing of the strainer is an entire can for the sprayer. A mistake I made very early on was that I would add way too much water, and that watered down my paint way too much. So I was basically spraying on watered paint, and it wasn't drying right, it wasn't spreading right, it just was a mess. So highly recommend doing only about 10% of watering down. I used to do about 30, which is wild. Oh gosh, you guys, next is painting. I was so excited about the Spanish olive color. This sample looked way different, and it was pretty quickly after I started spraying that I realized that this is not at all what I was expecting, not what I was hoping for, so I had a pretty big crisis mode. This color is not what I was hoping for. It is very green. I'm gonna show you. Anyways, I added black to my canister, and I added probably 50% black to get a darker green, and it looks way better. So I'm gonna spray that now and I'm gonna show you guys. But oh, I feel like this only works in a boys' nursery or like a dinosaur themed room. After adjusting the color dramatically, I was way happier with the second tone. It gave a way darker forest look than that bright green. Like, it was greener than the grass. It was very green. I was not expecting it, and it's not the vibe I was going for. So with this darker color, I was super excited. And how I treat my paint is once I spray on the first coat, I'm going to lightly sand after with the squishy pad, and then I'm going to go in with the second coat as well. This one needed a total of 3 because of the original color being not what I was looking for. So I did 3 coats total. Next, I had to move in the piece all by myself, and this is where I really wish I had new dollies. This dolly very often will take a mind of its own and just decide which direction I go in, which is really difficult when moving a dresser all on your own. But it keeps me on my toes, so that's a little exciting. While I'm moving this dresser in, I wanted to ask my question of the day, and the question of the day is what is a trend that you wildly regret that you participated in? It's going to be a fashion trend, so it could be hair bumpets, which is 100% my answer, where you twisted the front of your hair like if you had bangs and you'd push it up and then pin it up. It was horrendous. I did that style all through high school. It could be parachute pants. It could be from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s. Whatever trend you participated in and you look back on and you cringe at yourself so hard and everybody who participated. It could even be perms at the time. Anything you can think of, please let me know. I would love to do research on what trends you guys participated in and to regret now. Now that you have the question of the day sitting through your mind and thinking about it, let's do a breakdown of time. So it took me 30 minutes to completely prep the piece, which was removing all the hardware, cleaning it, and taking the before footage. Then for scuff sanding, that took me about an hour and 15 to scuff sand the entire piece, including using the hand sanding parts. Prepping for primer, removing all of the dust, took an additional 30 minutes just because I wanted to make sure that all the dust was off and I had to reassemble the piece. Then priming itself took less than an hour and painting less than an hour total of work time, but dry time was about 3 hours total. In addition, hardware took just under 30 minutes to reapply and reassemble everything together. I also added drawer liners, which is my least favorite part typically. That took me 2 hours to apply the drawer liners. Staging all of it together took an additional 30 minutes. And then lastly, listing the piece took just under 30 minutes. Total time, that puts me at 7 hours and 15 minutes from start to finish for the entire project. I'm hoping to make about $400 on this project, which means that would put me at about $55 an hour for my time. And here we go. Here's a reminder of the before, the grimy, very typical look, and here is the after. I love the dark moody green. I think that the brass hardware that my followers picked out was the perfect fit for it. I was honestly thinking the squared edges would be better, but this is a nice simple touch to it, and I think it really emphasizes the piece and gives it a really great standout. I really love this piece because it's simple, but still the wood grain pops through the paint, and then the drawer liner, of course, really complements this piece, and I love the design of this drawer liner. It is by far my favorite. I'm gonna have extra on hand at all time because I think it is so stunning. Thank you so much for coming along with this week's YouTube video. This was such a fun one and very quick. I hope this helped give you any tips you can get to start on furniture flipping. It is an incredible source of income, and I think you will do phenomenal. So, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye!